Hi, my name's Sam, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome to my bedroom. I'm not in my office today. It is currently being occupied by a house guest, so we are in the bedroom for a little while. But today is Friday, July 15th. It is 8:42 p.m. and I am starting my Summerween vlog. Summerween is hosted by Olivia Reads a Latte, and I forget the other host at the current moment. I'm going to link both of them down below because I watch Olivia constantly. She's my favorite. So I'm going to kind of go through the prompts real quick, and then I'll tell you kind of what I'm reading. I already started reading earlier today, so I'm almost done with a whole book. So I'll give you some updates. So the prompts are: 1, read a book in the dark / at night. 2, read a book with Halloween colors on the cover. 3, read a book with haunt in the title. 4, read a slasher. And 5, make or bake a spooky fall themed treat. So I'll kind of walk you through. We'll start with audiobooks. What I'm reading. So my day job, I can listen to audiobooks all day. So today I started The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I'm almost done with that. I'm 87% of the way through. I'll give you some updates on it when I'm done because my camera battery is already starting to die. I'm also planning to read Final Girls by Riley Sagar. Those are going to be like my 2 main slashers. And then I also have the Dracula audiobook. These are all rented out from my library on Libby. So if I get to Dracula, that would be fantastic. If not, then it's not really a big deal at this point. I also got for ebooks The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. I think that's how you pronounce that. And then I got Gilda Joyce, Psychic Investigator by Jennifer Allison, which was one of my childhood favorite series. I haven't found a book that I wanted to read with haunt in the title, but that one is about a ghost, so I'm kind of counting that for that one. And the Grady Hendrix and the Riley Sagar books count as my slashers. I also really would like to read Physically When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I picked this up a couple months ago and I've been super interested in it, but I just have not actually gone into it yet. So, kind of interested in that. And then I'm currently in the middle of Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I'm almost done with it. I've only got like a couple hundred more pages, so I'm probably going to try and finish that tonight. Because I just want to, because it brings me joy. But I won't be talking about that. That's just for my own personal joy. So yeah, I'll update you guys tomorrow on what I've read, how Final Girl support group was, and I will probably be making my Halloween treat tomorrow, so I will take you guys along with me then too. Hi. So Sadie and I went for a drive today, and you can hear her panting right now because we're stopped and she doesn't want to be stopped. But we're going to do this because I don't want to do this when I get home. So I finished The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. So it was a slasher thriller about, I think it was a group of like 6 women who were all final girls, and a killer came back for them, and blah 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 blah. It was fine. I don't think it was amazing. I thought that the ending twist was pretty okay. I've heard from some other people who are like really big into the thrillers that the ending wasn't that great. But I thought the ending had like a good amount of surprise. Like I wasn't totally expecting it. It's kind of what I wanted. Like you walk into it and you're expecting it to be a bunch of final girls from their respective like killers, whatever. And someone comes back and starts murdering them. So, you know, you definitely got that. You got what you wanted from it. And I thought it was fine. I thought it was written fine. I thought that the audiobook narrator was pretty good. I liked her. So, it wasn't bad. I would probably give it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't bad. You know, it probably doesn't help that earlier this morning I finished Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. And I finished it. I started reading it at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I finished 200 pages by 12 o'clock. And I sobbed. I sobbed uncontrollably for probably 30 minutes. You know, that probably didn't help me at all, but like, here we are. So, I think that I like Grady Hendrix' writing. I think that I do want to pick up the newest novel, How to Sell a Haunted House, because that sounds a little bit more up to my speed in comparison to this. I'm definitely a little bit more of like the if I'm going to read like a horror or a thriller or something, that I want it to be supernatural. And that's typically my vibe. I say as literally everything that I'm picking up for this is like not supernatural and is mostly thriller. It's fine. Everything's fine. So I did start my next audiobook. I've been picking up Final Girls by Riley Sagar. Personally, I feel like the audiobook narrator for this kind of sounds like the female Siri voice, which I mean is fine. I'm sure I'll get used to it, but it's definitely not my favorite audiobook narrator I could find. But that's okay. But I'm only like a couple minutes into it. Like I am like a half an hour into it right now. So we're just finding out that someone was murdered. So something about me is that I never read the backs of books before I start reading them. Like I almost never. I'm just like, oh, I've heard of this, or oh, this looks kind of cool, or even like, oh, I have a vague idea what this is. So I'm just gonna pick it up and go with it. And that's pretty much what I always do. So I honestly have no idea what this is gonna bring me. It's gonna bring me another Final Girl story. So, which I'm kind of excited for. I read Home Before Dark by Riley Sagar, and I really liked that. And I also read Survive the Night by Riley Sagar, which I enjoyed. Like, I didn't think it was amazing. It was not the worst thing that I've ever read. It's not the worst thriller that I've ever read. So, Riley Sagar so far, pretty good vibes. Grady Hendrix so far, pretty good vibes. I can rock with that. So when I get home, I'm going to start When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. What I know about this is that it's about creepy neighborhood watch groups. I don't like when neighbors get all up in my business. I don't like cities. I don't like any of that stuff. So I have a feeling that this is going to be insanely creepy and uncomfortable, and I'm really, really excited for it. So yeah, we're gonna keep driving to get home so we can relax. Let's take a look at saves. Sadie babes. Hi, pretty lady. You ready to go home? Yeah? An angel. Okay. So we're gonna head home. Okay, terrible lighting. I'm gonna do a quick check-in. I'm still reading When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I'm at page like 138 right now. I really like it, but I'm trying to figure out, is this just like a crazy white people story about like gentrification and racism and like just white people shoving people of color out of their neighborhoods? Or is this something kind of like Get Out, where it's like psychopaths, like psychotic white racist people, like doing some weird shit? Because like people are having nightmares, and it's just like, it's at this point where it's just like kind of sprinkling it in, where I'm just like, oh, this might be more than what it currently seems. But then they threw in like a scene, like they've thrown in like a couple scenes where it's just like, okay, this doesn't seem like some kind of like culty, supernaturally like weird psychotic kind of shit. But there are definitely some scenes where I'm just like, ooh, this might be like freakier than I expected it to be. So yeah, it's really fantastic. I really like the main character, Sydney. I definitely feel for her really hard, and she just got through a whole scene where she was criticizing herself for being like brash and kind of short with one of the other characters, Theo, who is a white man who just moved into her neighborhood. And he's kind of helping her out with some neighborhood stuff. And she's like criticizing herself for being really brash with him and stuff. And I just feel for her at this point, where it's just like, you're going through so much. Like, I can understand why you're being so short with him. And I feel like she's being a little bit too hard on herself at this current moment in the book. I don't know how I feel about Theo. I feel like Theo gives me weird vibes. He gives me weird vibes, not only in his personality, but his ex-girlfriend that he's living with, because they own a home together, and like the excuses that he makes for her. But I'm going to sit and read this for a little while, so this will count for the reading in the dark. I'm going to turn this light off above me, so it's just my orange twinkly lights behind me, which is just enough to read by. And then Sadie and I are going to go to bed. You can see her little face. She's already sleeping. Yeah, so tomorrow I want to try and finish this, and then I definitely want to get at least halfway through Final Girls by Riley Sagar. So yeah, I'll check in with you guys again tomorrow, probably after work. Hi everyone! So today is actually Friday, July 22nd, and I know that Summerween is technically only supposed to be from Friday, July 15th to Thursday, July 21st. But I have gone ahead and decided that I'm going to extend it by 2 days because I'm not ready to be done. So I'm just going to do my thing, mainly because tomorrow I'm headed up to Machias to see my sister, and that's like a 2-hour ride up and then a 2-hour ride back. So I have lots of time and energy to spare for that. So let's kind of go over like what I've done for reading so far, and what I've done for challenges so far. For audiobooks, I listened to Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. It's one of those books, like, now I've consumed it, and now it's just kind of gone, and I don't really care about it anymore. And that's probably just because it wasn't really my vibe. I also read through and finished Final Girl by Riley Sagar. I'm also going to give that one like a 3-star. It wasn't bad. the twist kind of got me. The twist definitely kind of got me. Like, I wasn't expecting it. But I will say, not my favorite Riley Sagar so far. So far, I've read 3. Oh, wait. I read a 4th Riley Sagar. I believe it was called Lock Every Door. I'm gonna put it over there. That one I actually kind of liked. I would say I would give that one like a 3.5. So Lock Every Door was a little bit different. So it was about this girl who had been laid off from her job, who had found out her boyfriend was cheating on the same day, and who left and stayed with her friend for 2 weeks, and then she found a job listing on Craigslist to stay in this fancy-ass apartment for 3 months, and she would be paid $12,000 to house sit this apartment that was empty. And it was given under the pretense of, well, we can't leave any of our apartments vacant. This is a very fancy, like, historical New York building. We need to keep up the appearances and make sure everything looks fine still. Okay, fine, whatever. But some crazy things happened. Some really, really crazy things happened. I found that I like Riley Sagar's books more when there are things like secret tunnels and like conspiracy theories and like it's just kind of spooky. Not so much in a thriller way, but more of a like, is this haunted kind of way. So that's kind of where I am with that, because Lock Every Door kind of gave me some of the same vibes that Home Before Dark gave me, and I really liked that one a lot. I really loved that one. I think I gave it like a 4 or 4.5 star. But Lock Every Door was pretty good. The twist kind of got me at the end. Like, I wasn't expecting the twist. I kind of wanted it to be something like spooky and haunted, but it wasn't, which is fine. Which I feel like we all, like, you go into a Riley Sagar book sometimes and they'll like set it up as like, oh, this is like super haunted, and like you imagine it to be haunted, but then it never is. It never ever is. So I don't know why I fall for it, but I do. And I enjoy the experience. I wouldn't say like the writing style is all that amazing. I wouldn't say I particularly love the dialogue. I would say that some of the characters are really interesting. The main character, she was okay. I didn't adore her in any capacity, but I thought that she was pretty strong-willed, pretty like, you can't kill me, which was pretty nice. There was a side character named Ingrid, who I really enjoyed. She was fun times, and I'm glad that they kind of gave her more of a character arc than, oh, you're just another dead girl. I also kind of enjoyed, there was another character who was like a famous author. I enjoyed where they took that storyline. So it was a favorite author that had been like a really important childhood figure for the main character. And she really was just like grouchy and not happy and not okay. And I don't want to spoil anything for that because her character line's kind of important, but there was definitely like an interesting progression in where they took her. So yeah, not bad, not fantastic. Now, for physical books so far, I finished the Alyssa Cole novel that I was reading. I adored it. I'm gonna say like a solid 4.5 stars. I adored this book. So this is about a Brooklyn neighborhood called, I think it's Griffith's Place. And it's a black neighborhood that has a lot of historical meaning, and our main character, Sydney, grew up there. This is where her mom lived. This is where she lived. So she came back after a divorce, and she kind of took over. Her mom was sick. Things weren't going too well. There were a lot of financial issues. And then all of a sudden, white people start strolling into the neighborhood and buying all of the houses of all the neighbors around. And it's like a massive gentrification story. It's really, really interesting. It's really creepy. It's another one of those ones where, like, I was kind of feeling like there's something a little supernatural going on there for a second, and it's not. It's not for a second. I think it's just my hopes and dreams at this point. Because I like supernatural, but for some reason I'm just reading thrillers right now. It was told in two different perspectives. So it was Sydney's perspective and then Theo's. Theo is a white person who moves in to one of the neighbors' houses with his girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, Kim. Kim is awful. Kim's just the worst. And Theo, I still can't pin whether, like, I really like Theo or not. I think he's an interesting character. But I'm not going to say, like, that he's likable, or that I really enjoyed him, or that I really loved his perspective. I thought he was well written. I thought he was well depicted. As, like, this kind of ignorant white person who thinks that they have gone through similar struggles as the Black community because they grew up poor. And that's just not the case. And he kind of starts to realize that as he goes through. And, like, him and Sydney, they become close. They work on a research project, doing a tour of the neighborhood to talk about Black history throughout this neighborhood and where it started, like, and how it got to where it is at today. And all the interesting facts that come with that. And they start to get really close, and their relationship is really interesting. I really would have liked it more, I think, if it wasn't so obvious from the beginning that Theo wanted something like a romantic, sexual kind of vibe with her. Like, I think I would have enjoyed their relationship a little bit more if they had just started out as friends. But I think it's more realistic in the sense of, like, he's looking at her from across the street and he, like, starts thinking about her and wanting her and all that. And I understand that that's probably more realistic. But, again, I can have hopes and dreams. It doesn't really affect my enjoyment of the story, honestly. And it just got crazy at the end. Like, we were just kind of working up, and this book is like, it's like 300 pages or so. I think it might be a little bit more. But we're just working up for, like, almost 300 pages, and then the last, 30 pages, it was just like, bam, bam, bam. I'm like, what the? It was too much. It was too much in the best way possible, though. I really, really loved it. So if you're questioning whether you should read this Alyssa Cole book, you should. I'm not a big thriller person. I still really, really loved it. I watch other thriller lovers who loved it. I actually got this recommendation from Olivia Reads a Latte from one of her videos, like, probably like a year ago or something, and it's one of the ones that just stuck in my mind where I was like, that's interesting to me. So, recommend that one. So those are all the 4 that I've read so far. The prompts for Summerween: read a book in the dark at night. I did that with the Alyssa Cole novel. Read a book with Halloween colors on the cover. I'm gonna say Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, or The Final Girl by Riley Sagar. Both count. They were both black and red covers. So, read a book with Haunt in the title. So I'll get to that. I'm currently finishing up that one. 4, read a slasher. Final Girls support group or the Final Girls, both qualify for that. I could also say that Lock Every Door follows that. And the 5th one was make or bake a spooky fall themed treat. So I'm not doing that because it's been 90 for the past week and I don't have air conditioning in my living room / kitchen. It's just a giant room that I don't want to pay to have air conditioned. So I just air conditioned my bedroom instead. So I don't like to be anywhere other than my bedroom or like in my little tiny pool outside, which is where I will be for the rest of the night when I'm done with this. So slashing that off the list because I'm not willing to suffer that hard for a pumpkin spice scone. Like, you need a cool climate if you're gonna make a pumpkin spice scone because your butter needs to be cold and not melt. So let's do our final one. The book that I am currently reading is Gilda Joyce, Psychic Investigator by Jennifer Allison. So that is the one that I'm counting towards has haunt in the title. Not because it has haunt in the title, but because it is a ghost story. So this is the first book in the Gilda Joyce series, I believe, that I read when I was like 10 or 11. It was my favorite series back then. So I'm doing a reread of it because I need a little bit of joy in my life. It's about this 13-year-old girl, Gilda, and it is her summer vacation, and she wants to go to San Francisco to see her long-lost second cousin or whatever, because she wants to have a fun, cool summer. She is super interesting. She does like a neighborhood watch of like a, let me watch weird people because I think they're weird. She is a psychic investigator. She's super interested in the paranormal. And she's just all around a chaotic, cool kid. She's got this big ass typewriter from her dead father that she writes on. She's a novelist. She just does everything under the sun. And she gets invited to San Francisco ultimately after Lester's daughter takes a fall. And she is trigger warning for this book, trigger warning for this middle grade book, suicidal ideation, severe depression, actual suicide, like, middle grade. I read this when I was like 10. I didn't remember any of that, and it was a shock to me when I got there. So, like, we all knew, like, 10 years ago, Lester's sister jumped off the roof of the tower of his San Francisco home. That is a pretty basic fact of this story. But Lester's daughter is so incredibly depressed. She is not okay in the absolute slightest. So Lester ultimately ends up being like, yeah, okay, Gilda can come see her because she's got the sads. She's not doing so hot. I think she needs someone around to help. So ultimately, Gilda goes. And that's kind of where we're at so far. And I just forgot how cute this was. Like, it's definitely got some, like, hard-hitting topics, but it's also just, it's just cute. I'm super excited to, like, finish it. I'm gonna go home and drink my Monster, and I've got some orange juice. I'm gonna sit in my little pool while the sun sets and read my book because it is, like, 90 degrees out, and I am uncomfortable. So we're gonna end this clip, and I will see you guys for our road trip tomorrow. Okay, unfortunate lighting. Sorry about that. But hi everyone. So I am on my way to Machias to spend the day on the beach reading with my sister and my nephew Arthur. He is a good boy. I'm gonna put a picture of him here, cause he my sweet man's. And I'm actually, so I was reading, or I was listening to Dracula by Bram Stoker. But that's 19 hours long, and I'm just not feeling it anymore. Like, I was feeling it when I first started, but I don't want to spend an hour and a half listening to that audiobook narrator, honestly, because I just don't like it. So I'm going to start on my audiobook for The Last Quintista by Donna Barbara Higuera. I'm gonna fix that pronunciation. So I'm gonna listen to that for my hour and a half drive, and then we're gonna go from there. I also did read some more of Gilda Joyce Psychic Investigator last night. Nothing extraordinary has happened at this point. Gilda and Juliet are just becoming friends, and they're starting their adventures together, and we're getting a little bit more backstory right now. So hopefully I'll try and finish that today. So I'll check in with you guys. Okay, good morning. So today is actually Wednesday the 27th. I'm about to head off to work, and I just realized that I never filmed an ending for this Summerween video. I did not take you guys with me to Machias because I got distracted by my little Arthur man and how good he is, and I just spent the entire day focused on him. And you know, my sister, keep catching up with her. So I did not get a ton of reading done. I did read more of The Last Quintista, but I'm not done with it yet. I really like it so far. It's sci-fi, but it's kind of like my worst nightmare, so it was a really nice way to end off Summerween, because it's definitely pretty horrifying to me. So yeah, this actually went really well. I completed 5 books for Summerween, and I did, I believe, 4 out of the 5 prompts. And I think that I've definitely gotten a little bit more used to filming while doing all of this. I know you've seen a lot of car shots lately because I didn't want to film inside my house. And you can see this little orange fuzzy thing right here. This is my steering wheel cover. So I'm sorry that's been in every single clip so far. But yeah, so this was really fun. I really enjoyed this. I can't wait for October for the next event. And hopefully that point I'll be doing like a whole paranormal thing and not a thriller thing, because I don't think the thriller vibe was the most successful way to do this for me personally. So we'll get a little bit more spoopy. I will kind of start building a TBR. If you have any like haunted, supernatural, paranormal recommendations, I would really appreciate those, because it's definitely something that I love, but not something that I'm super well versed in. So yeah, this has been my Summerween vlog. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm headed off to work, so I'll see you guys next time.